Hey guys, it's NinzyRoo here, and I am building again in The Sims 4. This time I am building kind of a Victorian style row house. I saw another image on Pinterest. I think that that's pretty much kind of par for the course. That's usually where I get all my ideas from. And also because this lot is kind of long and skinny, I thought, well, I needed to do a home that's long and thin. So this kind of image just kept, kind of popping up when I searched. So it turned out, pretty nice. It's not my favorite build, but I also, don't really find this style of build my strong suit, so to speak. The exterior is kind of a lemon yellow, which I thought was very nice, very cute. And it's got, white windows with yellow accents. I do use the Strangerville windows, banisters, and columns. And I'm sure I probably use many things from different packs, to be quite honest. So you see I'm kind of putting together the windows. I got double balconies out the front, and then a pretty large balcony out the back, and then a sunroom beneath that, which I use as kind of like an indoor gardening space for the sim. There's two sims that live here, husband and wife. They're elders. And the wife is an avid gardener. In fact, she's like a level 9 or 10 gardening skill. Like she's really high gardening skill. And then in the screenshots, you'll see that I have like a cow plant and a few other more rare plants out there that she tends to lovingly. And then her husband, I have him. He is retired, but he was in the political career, and he got to a level 10, I believe, political career, or it might have been 8 or 9, but very high up there. So yeah, I hope you like it. I hope that you enjoy this build, and I hope that maybe the home kind of appeals to you. It's not it's not really my preferred style, my taste, so to speak. I mean, I can appreciate a beautiful Victorian home, but I prefer one that has, the rounded towers and something a little more, I don't know, typical or stereotypical, I should say, Victorian as opposed to a Victorian row house. Although I do like the looks of this as well. So here I'm toying with the idea of going with more of a beige color, but then I decided, if I'm going to go yellow, I might as well just go yellow. So I do keep it this bright kind of lemon yellow color. The grounds are very lush, highly landscaped, which for me, just made a lot of sense for the sim, the wife who lives here, because like I said, she's got excellent gardening skill. So it made sense to me that her yard would be basically almost completely taken over with flowers and shrubbery and plants and very little lawn. Yeah, I think like I said, I think it looked pretty nice. I do use some of the buy mode plants. I also do, I believe, use some debug mode plants as well. And I initially started out with just filling in the entire yard with plants, but then what I end up doing is I do put a little, use some terrain paint and make a little like sitting area out here in the front, and put a fountain there, and then I have a pathway that goes essentially all around the house so that you can get to all the areas. So here I'm starting to move the plants out of the way to build a pathway, because I didn't love the look of it when it was just really full with plants, and I thought, well, she's going to need to get to the plants to water them and tend them. So I thought a pathway kind of leading all the way through with all these plants here made a lot of sense. Wouldn't it be just beautiful to have a yard like this, lush and beautifully landscaped with all these, I imagine, fragrant plants, and would probably attract lots of bugs and bees and birds and the like. I have a very large yard myself, but it's just not, it's not lush like this with all the plants. One thing we do have that's really neat though is a very, very, very large, like 100-year-old willow tree in the backyard, which is beautiful. Especially when the wind blows through it, it just makes so much noise, all the leaves and branches hitting each other, which is very nice. But it's not as vibrantly colored as this yard. So here I'm doing some terrain paint, like I said, working out that path that kind of weaves through through the yard, and then I put a little you know, garden or outdoor seating area, a little table out here with umbrella, and I do end up putting a covered gardening space. I started out with using a pre-built kind of awning, or I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's from Get Together, I think. I could be wrong, but then I end up changing that out for some columns and just a roof, and then use the glass roof because I just thought it looked a little nicer, and I don't know, it just made a lot more sense. I also thought it made sense that this family would have some graves out in the backyard. I know that kind of maybe seems a little gothic, but my thought was this home had been in this family for years, like generations and generations, and so there would be some families who, or some family members who had wanted to be buried out in the backyard as opposed to, you know, in the local cemetery, so to speak. So I do put a few there. One of them actually is a character from my actual save file, and it's actually their son. His daughter is being raised by his sister, and I also did a speed build for them, which went up on my channel not too long ago, and it's called the Cute Comfy Cottage is what it's called, and it's just it's a home made for the toddler and the aunt, because in my, like I said, in my gameplay, the father and the mother have died, but the father's gravestone has been lovingly placed in the family, on the land of the family estate, so to speak. So yeah, I do use these climbing plants from, I believe those are from Jungle Adventure. I think they're really pretty, and they have matching floor or ground foliage that matches it, and it's from Island Living, I believe. And I end up changing a lot of them to the white flower instead of the purple, because I thought that would look a little nicer up against the yellow of the house. But I did toy with keeping it purple. It is very pretty, that purple and yellow together, but I thought it just looked a little more classic in the white. So now I am beginning to move on to the interior. I'm basically finished with the exterior, except for some minor changes that I make once I start playing in the home, like adding plants and stuff that my sim had grown. And also I do take a few plants. I did take a few plants from the gallery that some other players had already grown and put them on the lot as well, just so I didn't have to grow all of them. But I did grow some so that she could build up some more gardening skill. And it's only a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home, so it's not very large. There is a butler's bedroom in the basement, which I add later on. I believe I add it off camera, but you'll see it in the screenshots, because I thought, you know, this is a really wealthy, kind of old family, and they would definitely have a butler, a live-in butler, to help care for the house, because she spends all her time outside. And then of course the husband was very career driven when he was retired, so it made sense to me for the family to have a butler. But I did, like I said, I did build that that basement living quarters off camera. So yeah, like I said, it's only a 2-bedroom home. I probably could have made it bigger. I could have even gone up another story or expanded the building out a little more, but I just really wanted large grounds, and I think that just made sense. I also probably could have turned this into more living space as opposed to an indoor gardening space, but I figure maybe it used to be a larger home. You know, maybe it used to have, maybe this used to be another bedroom. Maybe even the balcony up top used to be another bedroom. But they have renovated it to suit their wants and needs. And she's an avid gardener, so she wants a greenhouse that's attached to the home that she can, you know, kind of spend time in and do her flower arranging in. And then the balcony up above it, I figure maybe they knocked down the walls and turned it into a balcony so they had more outdoor space, and that is actually off of the master bedroom. So or I guess I should say the main bedroom. There really isn't a master, there's no bathroom attached to it or anything like that, but it does function as the main bedroom, or the master bedroom. The other, what could be a bedroom, ends up being, I end up furnishing it as an office, like I said, because the husband is very career driven and he needs space to work, or needed space to work before he was retired, and then he just kept it like that because it's his own little space to spend time in, just like she's got the gardening, the green room, or the sun room, to garden and spend time in. I just felt it suited the family really nicely. And I was going to go with the white cabinets, but then I decided to go with the warmer brown. It just made more sense. I figure, you know, they did update this home. You know, they got newer appliances, but they also maybe didn't update the cabinetry, but maybe quite a few years ago, maybe even when their son was still at home. So it's definitely got an older feel to it in a lot of ways. So now I'm putting the dining room in, and the dining room has a lot of green and brown, which I thought came together really nicely. I wish we had better chandeliers. I end up having to go with this more modern looking one. I wanted something like that. I want a crystal chandelier, but not one of those gaudy, awful crystal chandeliers. I want something that's just pretty and smaller, and maybe even on good for 3 different wall heights. We don't have anything like that. And this one here, I had to size it down to fit because it's not the tallest wall height, this house. So it doesn't work otherwise. It turned out nice though. I felt it still looked really nice, but I wish we had something a little more traditional looking and a little less modern looking. But like I said, still a chandelier. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but we had one when I was growing up. It was it wasn't real crystal. It was glass, but it looked like a crystal chandelier, and it had like 150 little glass, you know, gemstone looking pieces you had to take down. I remember when we and my sister would get in trouble, we would have to take it down and clean and dust every individual piece and hang them back up, and it was a massive task. But yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted a chandelier like that. We just don't have it in game. I also was going to put a side table here, but I ended up putting in a bar instead. And then in front of that window, I moved the side table over to that window. But like I said, I did end up putting a basement in for the butler. So, and that butler has a bedroom and a bathroom. And I put the staircase right there in front of that window to go into the basement. So I do rearrange some things, which you'll see in the screenshots. Yeah, I think it's not my favorite layout for a house, but I think again it works all right. It's got some quirks and some charm, and I figure these old houses would, so it kind of made sense. I also don't put a TV, or do I put a TV? I might actually, yeah, maybe I do put a TV, but maybe it's one of the older ones, not a flat paneled TV. Now I can't remember. Well, see there, I got the big screen flat panel TV, but I feel like I take that down and put something else up. I could be wrong. But yeah, and then I put a bunch of these older photos up. I figure these are ancestors. Yeah, there we go. I put the fireplace out and no TV. I decided, you know, these two, they're not TV watchers. He probably reads and plays chess a lot, and she gardens and flower arranges, and that's probably what they do in their spare time. That's what's fun to them. They didn't really need a TV. You could definitely very easily move those photos and put a TV up on the wall if you wanted to, or get rid of the fireplace And I just realized that I did put a fireplace in, but I never put a chimney in on the roof. So that's my mistake. Sorry about that. If I haven't already updated this or uploaded this to the gallery, I will update it. I'll change it, add the fireplace, and then upload it. Add the chimney and then upload it, because nothing bothers me more than when you have a fireplace in the home but no chimney. It makes no sense. Sometimes I'll add a chimney when there's no fireplace, and that's fine. I don't mind that, because then I tell myself in my story, oh, they've blocked it off. They bricked it out and covered it because they didn't want to use it, but they left the chimney in, because that's a whole other set of architectural problems to remove a chimney from a house. But you can brick it off and then make it so it's not usable. So I tell myself that sometimes, because sometimes a roof line does not look right without a chimney. I also was toying with the idea of using this shelving unit, but I end up going with the one that's more rectangular, this one here, and I just think it looks a little nicer, and I have it set so it looks like it's actually part of the bar. And I think it turns out pretty nice. I figured these Sims, they like their drink or their nectar, I should say, or their juice, or whatever you want to call it. But they've definitely got a lot of bottles there on the bar. Just putting some final touches here in the living room. I keep it pretty clean, not a whole lot of clutter. Again, I feel like they've got a live-in butler, so anything that could be left out is going to be put away, and that maybe they like the aesthetic of a very clean home, maybe that doesn't look super lived in. I also go very over the top for this bathroom. I thought this is where I can finally use the Get Famous bathroom fixtures that I never use, because I just think they're gaudy and ugly and awful. I also use the floor designs, which actually I think look really nice in here. But yeah, I never get to use this because it just doesn't fit in any of the homes that I furnish, or that I build. But it actually worked well in this home. I thought it looked really nice, especially in the brown and kind of coppery colors as opposed to like the white and gold. I think that would have been a little too much. I was trying to find something to put on the wall here. I just ended up putting these shelving units that have all the coffee paraphernalia, and then one of those little chalkboards up. And I thought that looked really cute. I also end up changing out the flooring, as you can see here, to a warmer color. It's really starting to come together. And the master bedroom is very beige. I wanted to do this really grand bed. I feel like that would have been there probably for 100 years. That bed frame, and maybe even this furniture is that old, and that's why they, maybe it's been reupholstered, but really it's been around for decades and decades. It's heirloom furniture, and I just liked that, that idea. So it looks a little bit more, probably too grand, honestly, for this home, but it suits the Sims, and it suits my story I tell myself, I should say. I love those lamps from Vampire, the Vampire Pack. My grandmother had lamps like that. They were like a creamy white color, and they didn't look like anything special from the distance, but when you got up close and looked at them, they were hand stitched and embroidered, this beautiful embroidery all over the whole lampshade, and then the tassels were actually beaded with these teeny tiny little beads that were about as small as the head of a pen, and they were just really pretty. And then, if I remember correctly, the stand for the lamp was actually crystal, that my grandmother had, and my father, I think, got those lamps after she passed, and then I don't know what happened to him after that. I don't know if he sold them or donated them, but he didn't end up keeping them. I know that they're not in his home, but they were really, really very much a style choice, but they were beautiful. So I'm here, I'm putting some lounge chairs and a couple of flower pots out on this balcony here. That's pretty much all I do out there, and I really wanted to use this this table, this island table glass thing that looks like it should be in a museum, and I thought that makes sense. Like, maybe that's an overhead replica of the town that that they live in. And, you know, like I said, since the husband was in politics, maybe he got that as a gift or something for his years of service or something like that. So here I'm putting in that covered gardening space, and you can see my cow plant there. I never, ever, ever play with cow plants, but I thought this family, yeah, they should have one. So I put one in. Now I'm just doing a few finishing touches out here, adding some lights so that when you walk through the yard it's not pitch black, and then we just go into the screenshots, and you will see, like I said, when you get this dining room screenshot, you'll see there in the back there's a little staircase leading down. You can barely see it, you can see the railing for it, and that leads down to the butler's area. And then you will also see the butler's bedroom, which is very plain, carpet in the bedroom and carpet in the bathroom, which is just awful. But I felt it suited this family. They would give their butler the bare minimum and nothing super fancy. So, well, I thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a great day wherever you are, and stay safe.